Welcome, Husker Nation, to another glorious edition of the Carriker Chronicles. Now, you can see I've still got the beard, which means at the moment I'm winning the argument with my wife. For now, anyways. Today, I want to talk about the recruits that we currently have committed to the Huskers on the offensive side of the ball. I broke down the defensive commits on Monday. Today, we're going to dive into the offense. But right off the bat, I want to talk about Vincent Valentine throwing the bones, baby, in the AFC Championship game. Now, keep in mind, this is a guy that most people project to be a 5th or 6th rounder. 325, goes to the combine and tests really, really well. Gets popped in the Patriots by the 3rd round. He has developed over this year, and he's part of a Patriots defense that a lot of people might not know is number 1 in the NFL. Now, it's interesting because everybody probably knows at this point, for 24 straight years, we've had a Husker play in the Super Bowl. That's almost a quarter of a century. For 3 straight years, we've had a Husker win the Super Bowl. Vincent's going to try to make it 4 years in a row. And to be honest with you, it was pretty cool seeing him throw the bones. I watched him, and it was more out of muscle memory than anything else. But I still thought it was extremely cool. And it kind of makes you just think one last time what our D-line could have been this past season. But I digress. Let's move to the future, and let's move forward just a little bit. But the main reason I brought that up is because I want to see more guys throwing the bones in the future. To me, that's kind of been lost. It's a tradition that it happens, but to me, it should happen more often because that is a big part of the Nebraska black shirt tradition. But let's get into our offensive recruits. So I'm going to start with a guy I couldn't talk about on Friday when I talked about and took a preliminary look at our quarterback battle going into spring ball, and that's Andrew Bunch. Why? Because it was announced right after I shot the show and sent it off that he was coming to Nebraska. Andrew Bunch is a JUCO walk-on. His father, I got some notes written down here. His father was David Bunch. He walked on at Nebraska as well. Andrew is 6'1", 190 pounds. He played 1 season at Scottsdale. He completed 118 out of 212 passes for 1,331 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Now, his team, the Fighting Artichokes, ended up 2-8. Not a phenomenal record. I don't know if that's his fault. Coming out of high school, he was a 3-star recruit. Now, here's what I like about this. We have so many good quality, I'm going to say contenders at quarterback this year fighting for the starting job. I feel like we can walk away with a solid starter, a decent backup, and 3rd stringer, a couple things that we haven't had in recent years. And then whoever's left over, if it's Gebbia, even Bunch, I don't believe he's used it up yet. They can redshirt if they need to, if they don't break the top 3 on the depth chart going into this year. Even Zach Darlington, I don't know what they're going to do with Zach. I've heard they might use him in some goal line, red zone, short yardage situations, even going for 2. I kind of like the idea of him being slashed, the old Cordell Stewart, and how the Pittsburgh Steelers used him in the mid-90s. I think that unless we have one quarterback who just steps up and is far and away better than everyone else, I like using Zach Darlington situationally as well. Now, let's talk about some of the other positions. And holy wide receivers. Did you know that our coaching staff offered 35 wide receivers in this recruiting class? Offered 35 scholarships to 35 different receivers. A lot of these guys that we have committed right now, I'm about to talk about, they're not big. They don't have a lot of size, but they are quick, a little bit on the small side, but they are very, very fast. Let's start off with Javen McQuitty. Now, he's a speedy slot receiver, probably going to come in and replace Jordan Westerkamp. He's a 4-star out of Missouri, 5 foot and 11 and a half inches, 191 pounds. And like I said, I see him working well in the slot, especially with the speed that he has. Next up is Keyshawn Johnson Jr., 6'1", 195 pounds, 3-star recruit out of California. And I have no doubt he's going to be a good player. But let's say he never plays a down for us. Him and his dad have been phenomenal as far as helping the Huskers with recruiting and building a pipeline to California, Nebraska. It kind of started with Keyshawn Johnson Jr., but I'm sure he'll be a very good player as well. Next up is Tyjon Lindsey. Now, he's 5'9", 161 pounds, 4-star out of Las Vegas. He decommitted from Ohio State and then came over to the good side. Left the bad guys, came to the good guys. He's a top 50, one of the top 50 recruits in the entire country, and he's the highest rated Husker recruit we currently have. Now, if you're wondering why I skipped over Tristan Gebbia talking about the quarterbacks, it's because I took a preliminary look at the quarterbacks on Friday, on my first ever Fast Friday video. I looked at Patrick O'Brien, I looked at Tanner Lee, and I looked at Gebbia. So look at that video. Just a real quick review. He's 6'3", 180 pounds, 4 stars out of California. Here's something I didn't say on Friday because I watched a little bit more film of him since then. And we're talking about Tanner Lee, it's been said that he has first round talent. We're talking about comparing him to Patrick O'Brien, who's one of the top 10 quarterbacks coming out of high school his senior year. I've watched a little bit more film on Gibbia since then, and I think he could have the most upside of all the quarterbacks, but he's also the youngest, he's also the lightest, needs to hit that weight room just a little bit. Now, next up, because we don't have a lot of big targets at wide receiver, next up is Austin Allen. I kind of like this guy. He's kind of a sleeper guy. If you look at him, he is one of the few in-state Nebraska recruits that we have committed right now. He's the number one recruit in Nebraska, and he's a big target. He's a tight end, 6'8", 210 pounds, 3-star tight end out of Aurora, Nebraska. I know that place well. It's where my grandparents lived. And like I said, I love his height. I love the fact that we've got speed. We've got a big target. He needs to add a little bit of weight. But I'm slightly excited about this kid. He might be my dark horse. I'll see. I got to learn a few more things about him at the moment. Now, in the backfield, we brought in a running back. We have Jalen Bradley. We brought in a fullback, Ben Miles. He's the son of former LSU head coach Les Miles. I'm a little bit surprised that we offered a scholarship to a fullback, just being with Riley and Langsdorf and how they like to run their offense, but I'm glad we did, because these guys can prove valuable in short yardage, goal line situations, and be key players on special teams as well. Now, the offensive line. We have 4 offensive line commits at the moment. And they're all 3-star recruits, and I have their weights written down here. 250 pounds, 266, 275, and 280. Now, I'm not slamming these kids. A lot of offensive linemen come in 270, 280 out of high school. That's perfectly normal. 250, 260 is a little bit on the light side. And these guys are going to have time to grow and develop as well, because we have a couple, 3 guys who redshirted last year on the O-line who I believe have a possibility of contributing this year. So we're going to have some old linemen in front of them playing that are young. So they're going to have plenty of time to grow and develop. So I have all the faith in the world in these guys. But what I am saying is the coach has clearly put an emphasis on 35 scholarships they put out for wide receivers, on going after wide receivers. I think in order to win championships in the Big Ten, and especially at Nebraska, you got to rebuild the pipeline. It starts with these redshirt freshmen that'll be playing. It continues with this class that's coming in. But I want to see the coaches put one heck of an emphasis on rebuilding that Nebraska pipeline, because that's how we're going to win championships. We're all talking about the nose guard and the 3-4 defense. Don't forget about that offense, the offensive line. Quarterbacks can't throw if they're on their butt. Running backs can't go if there's no place to go. No crease defense, right, Bob Diaco? And receivers can't catch the ball if the quarterback still has the ball on his backside. Let's rebuild that pipeline. That's all I'm trying to say there. And it continues with these young men right here. Now, as of right now, our class, I'll talk to you about, we're ranked 25th in the nation. We are ranked 5th in the Big Ten Conference as a whole. In the Big Ten West, we have the number 1 recruiting class in the Big Ten West right now. The schools that are ahead of us in the Big Ten are Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Maryland. They have 28 current recruits, so that kind of skews it a little bit. I'm not really too concerned about Maryland. They're not even that great at basketball anymore, and I can say that because I know a lot of people from the Maryland area. Take that. But in the Big Ten West, it's us right now first, then Northwestern, and then Wisconsin recruiting class ranking-wise. And a lot is going to change. We're exactly 1 week to the day away from National Signing Day. A lot is going to change. And over this next week, I am going to be talking about the kids we still have offered, kids who are still looking in Nebraska, the potential recruits that could still come in, because a lot's going to happen this last week, especially on National Signing Day. For example, we have a 5-star wide receiver going to make his announcement on signing day that we're going after. Talked about the nose guard and Jameer Calvin, Michael Harley. These are a couple of wide receivers who could also still come in. And I might even take an early look at the 2018 recruiting class. We will see. Be sure to tune in on Fast Friday, doing my second one ever this Friday, the regular schedule. Just a reminder for this offseason going forward is every Monday, Wednesday, and Fast Friday. Every morning on Husker Max, every afternoon on my social media, Twitter and Facebook. You can find it as well as on Real Ball Insiders. I'm going to be doing interviews in the future, right after signing day, after everything kind of cools down. Husker legends, Huskers in the NFL. It's going to be great. Tune in after National Signing Day. This whole entire offseason, it's going to be bomb. I can't believe I just said that. It's going to be bomb. I feel like a teenage girl, and I'm going to have 4 of them pretty soon. It's going to be bomb here on the Carriker Chronicles. But always, across the entire Husker Nation, baby, go Big Red. Life is good, and always remember to throw the bones.